Our very own West Nottingham Academy in Calora goes above and beyond to reduce methane emissions and promote sustainability here in Maryland. Students from West Nottingham and the Student Environmental Council are here to talk about it tonight. We've got Jayla, Ariana, and Ethan, who are junior and sophomore at West Nottingham. Welcome, guys. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
So, Jayla, tell us about the Student Environmental Council.
So the Student Environmental Council is essentially a group of students on campus that lead the charge in
in the sustainability program at West Nottingham.
On campus. So we lead the composting and recycling on campus, taking charge and lead on that, as well as promoting the ethic on campus of, it's not just something we do on campus, it's something you can take with you throughout your life.
Right, you guys do a ton of outreach in the locally and statewide, as we'll get to later. How has that program grown over time?
So just recently we have introduced the Student Environmental Council, so I was part of the first inaugural group. This year we are doing more outreach into the local community through our partnership with Kilby Farm, which we'll be talking about more in depth later, as well as a few partnerships through Delegate Castley, one of the delegates in Maryland as well.
Very cool. So one of the ways that you guys do outreach is through a podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so since West Nottingham Academy puts great effort into shaping us as the students into good, environmentally aware citizens, students, these podcasts are just a way for us to come together as a community and just generate a conversation and express ourselves, just generate ideas. So you can find our podcasts online, and we have 3 of them planned for this year.
Cool. And
3 for next year. So we are generating different ideas, and everyone around the world can listen to them.
That's so cool. What is it called?
So we have we've had one podcast, and it's called Climate Change in 140 Characters, and it discussed social media and climate change. So how they're interconnected, and do people talk about them on social media or do they not? And the next one, the upcoming one, is next week, next Monday, and it's called Those Who Can Teach Climate Change. So it will be a podcast for teachers, for our faculty members, to just discuss their ideas on this topic.
Okay, so if I wanted to go and listen to it, what would I know that I can go on Spotify or Stitcher or whatever?
Yes, anywhere you could.
What do I search for? What is the title to search for, the keyword?
You can listen to our West Nottingham Academy's podcasts.
Okay, cool. All right. So we touched briefly on this partnership that West Nottingham has with Kilby Cream Dairy. Tell us about that.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me and all of us. So the partnership we have with Kilby Cream and Mr. Kilby himself, we established a couple years back, and that started as just a way to get milk in glass bottles, so reducing our carbon footprint via eliminating plastic bottles. But it eventually grew so to the point where now we take all of our food scraps and we give them to the farm, and they send that through their methane digester to run the farm. And so that's part of the partnership. And as the years have progressed, we've been doing more and more with them. We've created an outdoor classroom with them. So some of our students go over to Kilby Farm and learn about the methane digester, learn about that process, how biologically that relates, agriculturally that relates to everything we're learning. And more about the partnership, we just went down recently to Annapolis to testify with Mr. Kilby himself on 2 House bills.
Yeah, how did that, I mean, I want to hear about the House bills, but how did that happen?
Well, we just got a request from Mr. Kilby. He works with a bunch of different people, and he was on these 2 bills, talking about them trying to make anaerobic digestion, the thing that breaks down food waste and turns it into reusable energy. He wanted our students to come speak about that because that's directly what we're doing at WNA. So House Bills 510 and 511 were what we talked about, and one is about the transportation of food scraps and food waste, and making sure that if you say you're going to take food waste to the landfill to compost, you have to actually do it. So you can't just say, we're a company that will take your compost to compost, because some companies say that, but then they just take it to the landfill.
Oh,
And
okay.
so deception on their part, and we're trying to get rid of that. And we also want to have landfills be able to have a place to compost it. So not just saying, well, we can't take it to the landfill because they don't have a place to compost. So all landfills, would need to have a place to take in that compost as well. And the second bill that we were testifying with was on, so our first bill was on transportation of the food waste. And our second bill was trying to make anaerobic digestion, the thing that breaks down food waste, into something that's more economically viable. So saying that we can digestate the solid that's made from the whole process and be able to market that as mulch and other facets to make it, something more profitable for the farmers.
Right.
Because right now
An incentive for that.
Yeah, exactly. Because right now our partnership is just basically a handshake agreement with the Kilby Farm, which is great. But if we want to expand this, we should really move forward with making it profitable for other farms if they don't have a school or other public domain, nearby.
Right. And we still have a few days left of session, but it sounds like you.
Oh yeah, things are
outlook is
going
good
great.
for
Yep,
those
yeah.
bills.
So all it has to do now is go to the Senate, and we have good hopes for that. So
Great.
things are great.
So really quickly, I know you guys have a couple of events coming up. You have on a national webinar on the 17th.
Yeah, April 17th.
Yes.
So that's you guys and
Mr. Kilby.
Mr. Kilby
Yep.
putting that on for who's the intended audience?
Anybody nationwide, really, anybody concerned. It's just a website. Anybody can log in, completely free if you want to, and you just sit in. We'll be talking about that. As I understand it, the audience will be able to engage. I could be wrong on that.
Oh,
but
ask questions.
yeah. So, and
Cool.
we have a second thing going on April 22nd. We have a speaker.
April 23rd.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Ron Webb, and he's from the Hip Hop Caucus, and he will be coming to talk to our students about environmental justice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it was awesome to meet you guys, and you guys are doing such awesome work. And I need to stop using the word awesome, but thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.